Yes.
Thank you.
With that, we'll go on to the committee reports, and Craig, I'll throw it to you on building grounds and operations. If you wanted to include Doug in soil testing, we can do that at this time as well.
Yeah, that'd be a great time. Doug, do you want to put you on the spot, maybe explain the soil testing for us, because you understand it?
You'll pull this sheet out, Ron. You've got one.
Oh, I've got one? You
Yes,
need that?
in your, just so you can follow along.
No wonder you weren't handing it to me. You knew I'd take it.
Basically, it's in pretty decent shape. The first thing that I would look at is the pH. Basically, you basically 0 to 14, water's at 7. Ideally, we want to be at 5.8 to 6.2 for what we're doing.
So you're right there.
So we're real close. That P1 is phosphorus. We're at 38. I'd like to see that at 45.
Okay.
K's at 274. I'd like to see that closer to 300.
It's been a while since my chemistry was K.
Potassium.
That's what I thought. High school's been quite a few years for me.
How often is the soil testing done?
You should do it every 4 years.
Every quarter.
Okay. So you can, and that's really just to kind of monitor the fertilizer and the line that you do put on. Organic matter, that's just something that you're given. It's not really anything that you can change. I can give you a couple of guys try to improve the organic matter, and that's really through cropping systems and conservation. Every percent you could increase organic matter by is another 20,000 gallons of water holding capacity.
Wow, okay.
And to try and put that in perspective, a 1-inch rain on an acre is 27,000 gallons of water. The CEC, that's cation exchange capacity. Basically, what I use that really tells you the size of your dinner plate. And I use that on nitrogen. In other words, Thanksgiving, you pile it on, what's it eventually going to do? It's going to fall off. So when I'm using nitrogen, I know from those CEC ratings how much I can put on at any one time. And then this base saturation, that just kind of gives me a little closer look into the nitrogen. We have an imbalance here, be it naturally or in the past. They used a different kind of a high magnesium line. These values are like 19% on the magnesium. I need to get that down below 10%.
Okay.
And we'll do that through calcium limestone, not magnesium lime.
Okay.
Can you let a whole section of acreage just sit for a year like they found out after half of Kansas blew away? You know?
Oh, as far as you
Yeah.
can, I mean, that would be called fallow acres.
Yeah.
What
Let the land breathe.
what we're really doing is we try to leave more residue on top to hold that topsoil.
Yeah.
The no-till.
Yeah. So that kind of gives you, and these are PowerPoints that we put together. You can go through there and kind of explains a lot of the soil test.
Thank you for doing it, educating us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We could spend an hour on this, and we don't have an hour. But if you want, if you get through there and you have some questions, give me a call.
Yeah.
Well, I took the opportunity to go right along the combine with them, just to see exactly what the property looks like, and it was he suggested it, so it was a lot of fun. It was very interesting to see what kind of terrain is out there, and fair amount of rocks, and I think he's doing a wonderful job of taking care of the property for us, and a good steward to have. So, very, very happy with it.
Thank you for taking the time to put the education together.
Jerry, you asked several meetings ago about qualifications, and I really didn't answer yet. University of Illinois, many more years ago than I want to tell you. as far as,
No, you've answered them by telling me about the soil testing.
thank you.
Doug, if I may, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there anything that, how could we at the airport help raise the organic matter in the soil? Is there anything that we can do?
It's really just through cropping systems. It is a very, very slow process. I mean, you could do continuous corn. You have a lot more residue, but a guy needs to spread his risk. In other words, if you have a bad corn year, you got all your eggs in one basket. So that's why the majority of acres are split. And it's a very slow process.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Kind of continue on the
Yes.
report, but this is really actually kind of in special events, and I didn't get a report on it last time. We had an event here in September, right at the end of the month, where we had 6 steermen, and kind of a soft opening to see how well the airport and the surrounding area, try to find any deficiencies as far as holding formation clinics here. And the purpose of this would be almost like aviation tourism, in that this airport has so many good things for it, for our purposes of formation training. It's uncontrolled airspace, which means that you don't have a tower that's necessarily interfering with how you greet the departures and arrivals. The terrain all around here is very friendly in the event of an engine failure. A lot of good flat farmland, so that's important. We're centrally located to major metropolitan areas. We have Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis, which is a nice draw as far as drawing people to Danville. We also have this runway configuration where we have 2 solid hard surface runways, and also the grass runway is really a nice advantage to have for tailwheel aircraft. It's a lot more forgiving with those airplanes, which really is a huge draw for a lot of people. Also, we have cheap fuel. The board is pretty much selling itself or served at 5 cents over cost, which is, and it's an expensive hobby. In any way we can help draw people here. I mean, we have people stop here all the time because there's an app which you can get on your phone with ForeFlight that tells you the actual cost of fuel around. So they're going to look at the cheap gas and they're just going to stop here. We have a great terminal building here that's been renovated, and we also have space here in the FBO as far as briefings and debriefings. There's also a shade sail with the picnic tables under there for people to watch. A lot of restaurants around that we found that were reasonable, and food was good. We have rental cars, decent hotels. And also we have maintenance facilities here for older airplanes, because Mike Buckencore is one 12 golden wrenches here. So we have all these things that will draw people here with older airplanes for formation clinic. And the good thing is they rent cars, they get hotel rooms, they go to restaurants, they buy gas. That's tax dollars coming to Danville, and then they leave and don't take those, we get to keep their tax dollars. So that's kind of the outreach to the community, why we want to do that. Also, it's interesting for people to come out and see formation flying. Really didn't find any shortcomings whatsoever. The event went very, very well. So I have a proposed letter to send to the FAST signatories. If the board would approve that, I could send those out to invite people to come to Danville for a possible formation clinic. Whether they're going to do it or not, I mean, you don't know until you take a shot. So maybe we get one, maybe we don't get any, maybe we get a couple. But there's so many things going on at this airport, and I think it's time to market this airport to bring people here.
Absolutely. That's what I'm all for.
Okay, so I don't know, you guys? Thumbs
I
up?
read your report.
Okay.
Yes,
All right, well,
please do.
I'll do it. All right, that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Treasurer. Okay, we don't have anybody on promotions and flight training.
Let me ask you a question real quick. That's a relatively new thing. I'm not sure we need that line.
The promotions and flight
Yeah,
training.
because,
That was Feasting's deal when we.
yeah, right, it's a totally different thing. He was involved in the flight club and
Yeah.
different airplane, but
We can,
I just
yeah,
thought we used to separate ground from buildings too. You can overload,
okay.
but that's up to you. Just, recommend.
Absolutely, we'd like to take that under advisement. I don't have a problem with moving that.
The special events can be woven program, promotion should be put together too.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I think we want to have, we still like to get, we do have some flight instruction here through the flight club. But that was the whole idea of bringing gliders here, was to give people that didn't have the money to afford possibly, powered flight. They had the glider club. We couldn't entice an airplane and a flight instructor here because we didn't have the student base to do that. So we went with the flight club to give people an opportunity to buy a share into an airplane, and that's been very, very successful. But I'd like to continue to pursue the opportunity to keep looking to have flight instruction here, because it's a great airport and people want to learn how to fly all the time, and we don't have anything for them. That's not right. That's not serving the community. So to me, I think flight instruction needs to still be on there.
Okay. We can look at,
Okay.
when we do the reorg, we'll relook at committees. How's that? But I agree, the flight training aspect. Economic development.
I think at this time, but it'd be great when we get the new manager and everything, we'll start looking at what we can do. Kind of revisit it from the bottom up. We'll get an update on our acreage and what we have to go on, things like that. And then I'm gonna go down and work with the Vermilion Advantage.
Sure. Sounds great. Okay, with that, we can move on to item 21, to revise the contract with Run High Power Strategies. This contract's going on a little longer than I think we all had anticipated. We can do this in open or executive session. Rod's been working at a reduced rate compared to what we actually agreed to pay him. So we need to update the contract to reflect that. Be the board's pleasure, we can do that, and Rod's too, since it's his contract. We can do that in open session, or we can go into a brief executive session to discuss that as well. What's the board's pleasure?
So we can take on the cover it. We can do it.
Rod, do you mind if it's open?
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
No, not at all.
You want to, the proposed, remind me of the,
Here, I'll, you want me to explain it?
would you please?
I'll explain it. Okay, so the initial, when the board, when we got together, when the board hired me basically, the initial scope of work was really tight and really very specific with a very limited time frame. The rate's kind of high. So as we got to work on this whole thing, we realized, I think all of us together, myself included, realized there's a lot more that needs to be done here, and it's going to take a little bit more time than we all thought it might because of some of the things that had happened. So with the things that had happened, it kind of set in motion a little bit of an additional requirement for capacity. So what I've agreed to do is to take as much cost out of my time here, reduce the rate, make it a weekly rate so I can travel out on Monday mornings. I leave St. Louis at 4 a.m., so I'm sitting in my chair at 8 a.m. in the morning on Monday. I leave here at 4 p.m. on Friday, and I'm usually home before 9 o'clock on Friday night. That's my week. It minimizes my expenses while I'm here to do it that way, and I'm here for the week. So I've gone from a high rate, the initial phase of the work was a $2,800 a day rate. The second phase of the work was $1,200 a day. I'm now at $3,800 a week for that week. And those are 12 to 1,500 days. There's nothing to do in a hotel, so there's plenty of stuff to do to get down here. That's how that works. So that's my weekly rate, plus expenses. I'd like, if we're gonna be around for a few weeks, I'd like to get out of a hotel and get into a longer term stay. I can save more money by doing that. And there are some options that are available here in town with Heartland Properties. They're the folks that have that unit where all the traveling nurses, all the traveling doctors, and all the people at, what's the big transportation company? It's got like 100 people here for the moment. They play,
Planes or AutoZone or
it's not AutoZone, it's the other guy.
McLean.
It might be McLean.
Yeah.
So they're all staying in those Heartland units that are longer term stay, and they're significantly less expensive than a hotel.
He's a tenant. The owner's a tenant.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure he is. So anyway, it's a better option to take some more expenses out of that whole residential aspect of it. So a weekly rate with a lower cost of a hotel would be better. But that's the disclosure. It's a weekly rate of $300 a week. That's what's changed. Makes sense?
I need a motion to approve the revised rate for Rod's contract.
Also, he backdated.
He did, yes.
I appreciate that very much. He went all the way back, so, on that stuff. Once he took on the interim manager role. So we appreciate that too.
My pleasure.
So it's cut back considerably. I made calculations on it. It's really reasonable. It's something that, if you stood it around a year, it would cost quite a bit of money. But that's not even out of range of what some airports, like, give you some checks today right now, what they're paying as airport managers that live right in town. So collectively, we don't want to do it forever, and he doesn't want to do it forever. But I'm glad we're starting to look for a manager, and I'm sure he can help us in the transition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
So
there's,
I would make the motion to approve your revised amount. I'd be a fool if I didn't.
you're saving a lot of money.
Second that.
Okay, a motion second to revise the contract amount with Rod Hightower Strategies to $3,800 a week plus expenses. Any further discussion on that? Cheryl, would you roll call the commissioners, please?
Craig Davidson.
Yes.
Steve Foster.
Yes.
Garnet Peck.
Yes.
Jonathan Meyer.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, with that, unless there's a call from the floor for an executive session, we'll pass over that. We'll move on to commissioner comments. Do any commissioners have comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
All right.